Hi, how are you? I got 5 minutes to spare while dinner's cooking in the kitchen there, and yep, it's Italian again tonight, with a twist. Lots of spices from India. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and spaghetti, of course. Let me tell you this one. Slavery. It's something that I was shown. They opened the door to slavery and showed me what was inside for some things, some tantalizing things to talk about. So, who were the longest? Who were the biggest slave traders and etc.? Who were the biggest slave owners in all time? Well, it's easy to answer that, and it's not to do with the Gold Coast, where we've got just down the road here from Eagleby. It's not to do with the Gold Coast of Africa, wasn't it? Anyway, that might be the Americas. I think it was the Americas where the Gold Coast was, and they shipped Africans straight across and sold them off as slaves. But it was a heck of a lot worse than that with another nationality. And that nationality that I want to talk to you about and want to make you aware of is the Chinese. The reign of one clan of Chinese, let's call it, was the Ming Dynasty. 1,500 years, the Ming Dynasty, and it was like this. That there is that story of the lucky cat. I tried to put that story up once before, the lucky cat, and they didn't like me stealing another video from somewhere. Or actually, it's this one, the lucky cat. It's the left hand when you see it on the counter. And so the story of the lucky cat, which has to do with the Ming Dynasty, is this: that the last emperor of the Ming Dynasty was freeing the slaves, essentially taking away everything from the clan called the Ming. So the dynasty, 1,500 years, emperors, not just kings, but emperors would be born and born into owning slaves, the entire empire as slaves, so there was this. The lucky cat story is this. I'll tell you the lucky cat story first because it's the most entertaining. And it's that little cat that sits on the counter going like this in a lot of stores, Asian stores primarily, Chinese stores primarily. And what happened was the last emperor of the Ming Dynasty was freeing all the slaves, and the others didn't look too fondly upon him. And I'm going to talk about slavery in the new modern world in a moment. And what's essentially happening is the same sort of thing that happened at the end of the Ming Dynasty is occurring right now. Except that the Ming Dynasty was all about one last emperor of the Ming Dynasty, and obviously why he did free the slaves, 1,500 years of accumulation. And I'll talk about that in a moment too. So he did free the slave. He was the last emperor. Everything must have collapsed from there on in to do with the Ming Dynasty. And so my guess is that soul that was born again, another incarnation that was born of that soul again, was probably Lincoln, President Lincoln, who was freeing the slaves. I don't know what era Martin Luther King was, but anyway, I haven't looked it up. So let's not get sidetracked. Let's not get those people going, he's wrong, he's wrong. Let me tell you this, the lucky cat, that's people, the name of the cat is actually the lucky cat, not the fortune cat. It's nothing to do with fortune whatsoever. So the last emperor was on with his entourage, heading for another city, town, and he came to a fork in the road, and he was supposed to go, let's say, to the left, to his destination, and he saw, he must have an absolute army with him, the emperor's army, and he saw a cat. It must have only been a glimpse of a cat, but he saw a cat in the right-hand fork of the road as he approached the fork, in his carriage, of course, having a good look outside, and hey, what's over there to the right-hand fork? And there was a cat going like this, sitting there and going like this. Of course, that's not physically possible with a cat. But what about a cat that travelled back in time? Animals are evolving so much now. We've got whales, killer whales, that are speaking English. Probably third generation, I estimate, of killer whales, listening to opera and all the rest of it, and all the boom, 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 boom music, and etc. on the cruise boats, as well as the yachts, personal yachts and stuff. And so whales are actually speaking English. Of course, they had to develop a voice box, or redesign their voice box through 3 generations or 4 generations of evolution to be able to speak English. So the cat from the future came back, did this, and so the emperor, instead of going to the fork, to the left-hand fork, he took the right-hand fork by his order, and avoided an onslaught, a hijack, a hijack, a whole bunch of people against him that were would they have been from the same family? No way, chum. So I got the 3-sided coin happening. It's an answering coin. And I just playing with it in my pocket. So to keep my conscious mind busy. So the Ming Dynasty. Let's go back there for a sec. Let's forget about President Lincoln and the others who are freeing the slaves. Hard to get out of their system, I guess, and that wasn't me. I'm looking at another soul's incarnations to make these statements. So, the end of the Ming Dynasty, the last emperor was freeing the slaves. They didn't like that, and they tried to get him, and the lucky cat helped him, and of course that changed his life, changed his outlook. Maybe it made him even more determined. I don't know. Those sorts of things happen when you have, let's say, UFO, not UFO, but supernatural type things happen, and etc. Supernatural is totally, absolutely apart from. It's sort of like this way and upward, which is to the left and slightly backwards, whereas spiritual is to the right, this way upwards, and to the right, the direction that we live life, to the right. So the same direction we read, the same direction time is, to the right, especially to us. Maybe that's why the Chinese who read backwards. Anyway, sorry to get a little bit political there. So what I'm going to say is this. It's a little bit humorous, but it's factual. So, and I got this after looking at a truck in front of me, and you know what brand of truck that was, from China. And I thought to myself, looking at the brand of that truck, I thought to myself, China, mate. Yeah, Great Wall. No, but there's other things there. there's other stuff there. And I'm not trying to be political. I'm just saying that. So what else? I thought to myself. I said to my guides, loved ones in spirit who were chatting to me, I said, Great Wall. So that's it. You think of China, you think of the Great Wall. Well, you used to, up to a point in time. And people like me used to think about the Lucky Cat story as well, and the Ming Dynasty, 1500 years and whatnot. But there was nothing else but the Great Wall at one point in time until somebody dug up a pile of clay pots. And I said to myself, well, did they make those like in the turn of the 20th century and start building those in secret or some crap, closed off the valley? And my guide said, no, mate, you've gotten off track again. You've gone on a tangent that isn't correct. And hey, I'm human. Some of the mysterious things that turn up in Uruguay or whatever, nowadays, and the back blocks of Tasmania, that's going to start happening soon, I'm sure. Out in the bush, we found this buried inside a monstrous rock. Anyway, I'm a suspicious sort of guy. I'm the sort of guy that questions a lot of things. And it's healthy. It's healthy to do that. So it was only for a millibleem of a second that I thought that maybe that all of those the clay army or whatever they are, were made as a tourist attraction, but they weren't. My folks were quick to correct me, and I went, okay then, no problem. Oops. But I was thinking then about how they possibly came to build so many of those warriors, the clay warriors in China, and with different, absolutely different expressions and whatnot. I'll just check on my pasta. Okay, it's time for pasta. And so what happened was I was contemplating how much effort went into building the clay warriors. How much time went into building the clay warriors? And it's like this. Somebody must have said, I know what I'm going to do with my slaves at the handover. I had plenty of time to think about it. I'm going to build myself an army of clay warriors, all different types. I love the ones that I played with when I was a kid. And I'm fantasizing. I'm getting a bit hysterical maybe to make statements like that. But hey, that's what floated through my mind. And so when you look at that concept of miraculous structures in China throughout that 1500-year period, and you can see each and every emperor what they did with their absolutely colossal amount. Was it the whole of China? A colossal amount of slaves. So somebody must have said, with the Great Wall of China, I built that damn thing as far as I can build it in this life. It's just up to Junior now to take over. And I told him, Junior, one day all of this will be yours. And Junior said, what? The curtains? That's Monty Python. Sorry about that. I know one of you guys up there, up the top, really loves Monty Python. And I'm sure you've got a three-headed coin by now. Where was I? Yeah, so Junior takes over the Great Wall of China. And what happens is he doesn't, or she, I think they're he's. They're all he's, aren't they? They're all emperors. I'm not sure. I really don't know any of the history. I haven't looked anything up. But the next emperor, or let's say empress, says, okay, then I'm going to build the Great Wall of China a little bit differently, even though Daddy said that I've got to stick to the fundamental guidelines, etc., and the map. So parts of the wall, maybe the end pieces of the wall. Look, when's it my turn to be emperor? I don't want to build that wall. It's just a junky idea. And so the wall didn't get built so well in the last sections. And I can imagine the kid who was growing up to become emperor. Maybe Dad was building the wall, and maybe he got sick of it. I don't know. I don't know the timeline on it, but one of them must have said to themselves when playing with the toy soldiers and stuff, and watching the toy soldiers on the battlefield. That's how Daddy would have taught him, I guess. I shouldn't say that. I know. I already did get my ass kicked. So some kid says, I told Mummy I was going to build soldiers out of clay, and she liked that idea. So that's how all of the Emperor's army in clay got built, I guess. Boy, oh boy, are we lucky that, that we're not living that way anymore, or are we? The way I see it nowadays, I don't get a great deal of response from something I wrote once saying, I don't want to own your mind. I want to free your mind, or something like that. I wrote. I'd have to look on the bonnet of my car. Anyway, so what I'm seeing nowadays is that a lot of people are actually freeing themselves. I think it actually started in the Americas. And Americas went to other countries like the Philippines and like Thailand and Africa and stuff like that, and looked at what people were doing for alternative lifestyles, and emulated that a bit more with greater money and bigger acreage and all that sort of thing, and more machinery and whatnot. Yeah. So people are freeing themselves, and the first thing that's happening at this point in time, and I'm sure there's lots of people aware of it, is that people are freeing their minds first. That's what initiates freeing their life and going off grid and whatever their freedom lifestyle is, out on a yacht, living the yacht the whole entire life. And of course they've come from lives of living in a stilt house in the middle of the ocean and stuff like that. That's where they've come from in past life. They land in America and they've got to free themselves of the slavery that's happening there. And there's a counteraction happening, of course. But anyway. So if you're contemplating more and more, holding more and more power over people, then you're in the wrong direction. Listen to the logic. I'm just some uneducated fool making a cocky statement. I mean, that's what you say. So the logic is that if we look at ourselves socially in evolution, the evolutionary social process of of living together. We are absolutely positively in this point of time moving away from bulk, moving away from huge continents of slavery. The African slavery was abolished, but then those people went underground and went for control in other ways instead of slavery and etc. But I can tell you now that it's not going to be 2,000 years or whatever. It's not going to be that long, and you're going to be fighting. You might be a big group, but you're fighting against strong individuals who are driven from past life and etc. And some of them, like me, are going into control or slavery, and that's why I'm against. I'm against the power of control and all that sort of thing. But it's not permanent. A lot of the people who are the power controllers are already building spaceships to get off the planet, and that's what they're doing with their spare income, fair income, fair share type income. It's fair what they do, isn't it? Conglomerates owning every social media, owning YouTube and things like that. I can no longer download my videos from YouTube. For some reason, it seems that I haven't got a YouTube site anymore, although I think that's my profile. It obviously doesn't belong to me anymore. It's another part of slavery. My rainbows are magnetic, and the Holy Grail of Science by Mick Cox. People are busting their gut. Sadly enough, the people closest to me, taking 40 years of my life. Oh well, he won't mind that, I'm sure. There'd be no objection there. He's just an idiot. So, I was for a while. It took me quite a while to get over the 400 to 500 facts and theories that I was dealing with, and I'm not allowed to call myself a scientist. They won't kick me in the butt, they'll kick me in the nuts there, or they'll kick me in the head, and all of the kicks in the head along the way. People knew about what I was writing a long time ago. Let's say I was grabbed on the street one day, held in a room for 4 days, and my laptop taken off me, and then just eventually 4 days later let out, here's your laptop back, and there was about 30 videos that I tried to make and tried to edit and join together like a big jigsaw puzzle. I hadn't even gotten to the point of, I was still making the short videos and numbering them, dating them. Anyhow, regardless of that, I mean, no harm done here because my YouTube doesn't go anywhere. My Facebook obviously doesn't go anywhere. Only what they edit and want people to see. They've got to build a character of me. That's to do with slavery, I guess. Let's call it modern slavery, and let's call it control instead. It's all to do with control. Slavery in that, I mean, of course. They're just not happy that they can't own them outright anymore. Well, that's not totally true either, is it? Anyhow, I mean, extreme control is absolute ownership, just about. Well, that's my little thing on slavery. 25 minutes. Have a great weekend for the rest of it, folks. I'm looking forward to a fantastic pasta meal. Should I say a minister's meal? No. Egg noodles. Hey, that's it. Have a great weekend. See you later.